back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome, and we're going to be doing my June favorites today, so let's get started. So I didn't really have that many makeup favorites this month as I did little things here and there, but one of the makeup favorites I had is this Airspun translucent powder. I recently found this at a Walmart. It was actually recommended to me by my friend Itze, and this stuff is literally amazing, and it doesn't have silica in it. So it is literally perfect for setting your face without having to worry about flashback from the flash on cameras. It does have a scent to it, but I wouldn't call it annoying. It's actually kind of refreshing. It's nothing that if you were putting it on my face, at least me personally, that I would get annoyed with. And I do find scents, especially in lip products, to become quite annoying, especially if you can taste them. But this one doesn't bother me on my face. You only smell it as you're applying it and then it's gone. Like, I can't smell it on my face and I'm using it right now. So I definitely recommend this Airspun translucent powder. They do have multiple shades. I believe like one is honey beige, I have translucent, and I have another one, but I really like the translucent because then you don't have to worry about anything oxidizing on your face. So yes, Airspun translucent powder. Another favorite of the month is the Skin Medica Tinted Moisturizer. I really like it because it is very, once again, moisturizing on your face, but it adds enough coverage to where you look more awake when you wear it. It's not a lot of coverage. This is honestly very, very minimum coverage. If I have to cover any blemishes, I always have to add my concealer on under this, just because this will not cover your blemishes by itself. So I will go in with my concealer, cover up my blemishes, and then apply this on top. And then it just like, you look more awake, and it's really nice, and it's refreshing, and let's just move on. Another favorite of the month would be this Lumen Glow Refresh Hydrating Vitamin C Mist. I really like this because I like to use it in the morning, sometimes at night, and I feel like it just wakes me up because it does smell citrusy, and it is hydrating. I wouldn't say it's as hydrating as some other products I've used that are more focused on hydrating your skin, but this is a nice mist to kind of like refresh your face in the morning. And I do like to pair it up before I use my tinted moisturizer, just because I feel like this kind of prepares the skin for this to stay on better. That's kind of like what I've found is like when I use this by itself, it doesn't blend as well, but when I use it with this, somehow it just seeps right into my skin and it looks more natural. The next favorite of the month is this Fake Bake Self-Tanner. I really like this because I was looking forward to having a tan this summer, but unfortunately in Texas it is so hot that unless I want to either get sunburned despite all of the sunscreen I'm wearing or just sweat immensely, I decided to go the route of self-tanner. Now, I usually would get my self-tanner done for me, for example, for like dances and stuff like that. So I never really have used my own self-tanner before, except for the Jergens, which in my opinion, honestly, did nothing for me. So I enjoyed using this. It was kind of a journey. This runs for about $14, I believe. I really like it because I feel like it does give you that tan instantly. Like within hours, like you look like you've been out in the sun all day, and it's absolutely beautiful. The only problem is, like so many self-tanners, it can be streaky. And so the only way I was able to kind of fix this problem was to use a lotion or moisturizer immediately after I apply this to try and blend out the areas that do get streaky. So for example, I would get streaky mostly in this part of my arm, and so I would just try and use my moisturizer and buff that out as easy as I could. Unfortunately, sometimes it did still leave streaks. Thankfully, it wasn't intensely obvious. It would just be in very few places that I noticed. And the other downside is there is a self-tanner scent to this. Now, personally for me, self-tanner scent does not bother me that much. I know it can bother a lot of other people, so that is something to keep in mind. But when I am applying it, I do feel like it smells like I'm at the ocean. Like it just smells like coconuts and moisturizer and sunscreen, and I think it smells good. But however, the very next day when I wake up, I do smell the self-tanner scent, and I'll walk past my mom and she has an intense nose and she'll be like, "Did you use self-tanner?" And I did. So you can smell it. It doesn't bother me that much, but if it does bother you, then this might not be what you're wanting to use. Personally, what I'm wanting to do is I've never used the LovingTanner self-tanner before, but I really want to. So I think what I'm going to do in that situation is, because LovingTanner is more expensive, is when I do get it, I'm going to apply self-tanner, the LovingTanner, all over me. And then for touch-ups, I'll use the fake bake. So I'm not using more expensive product to just touch up the tan. I'll just use this to touch it up every once in a while. And I do like it because it is a spray. So that's really nice. You just spray it on the mitt. But I do think that could also be part of the reason why it can be streaky. So it's just something to keep in mind. I don't feel like the spray is necessarily misty. It is kind of more direct of a spray. But once again, I really like it. I do recommend it if you are on kind of a tight budget and you would like to self-tan. Plus, I've used this 4 to 5 times, and I'm probably still up to here on the bottle. So I recommend this, and let me know if you like it or if you tried it before, or if you have any other self-tanner recommendations. I am all ears because I'm kind of looking for one that, you know, I can use often, but that doesn't look too fake. You know what I mean? So let me know. My last beauty favorite of the month is this OPI nail polish, and this is in the shade You're So Euro, or because they have such fun names, it could also be Urso Euro. But I think it's You're So Euro. Either way, this is a dark blue, and I really love this shade, especially for summer. I feel like it is a nice royal blue, and it's not too dark, but it's also light enough to feel summery and fresh and stuff like that. However, it is a nail polish, and unfortunately here in Texas, I did not have a base or top coat, so after like the 3rd day of wearing it, it came off. So I'd have to reapply it. But with a base coat and top coat, I do feel like you could wear this for at least a week, probably. So, or even longer if you're not manhandling your hands. While I was in school, I never wore nail polish or anything just because I was so hands-on with everything I was doing, especially during prosthetics and special effects, that it'd come off instantly, possibly get in the prosthetic, and then I couldn't use the prosthetic because I tainted it. So there's a lot of mishaps, so I didn't want to use nail polish while I was in prosthetics class. However, I really love the color. It's absolutely beautiful. I wanted a nice royal blue for the summer because I wanted something to remind me of the night sky. And what's really unique about this color, it was the last one at Target. And what's really unique about it is it goes on indigo, but in the sunlight it's royal blue. And so I really like that because it's kind of like I get 2 different vibes whether I'm indoors or outdoors. I don't know, I kind of dig that. If you don't, OPI has plenty of other colors, and there's always other nail polishes out there. Personally, I just love OPI the most. So I really love this nail polish, and yes. So my next favorites of the month are all songs, and I'm a very versatile person when it comes to music. I could listen to rap 1 second, and then Broadway the next, and then go on to country. Like, I'll listen to anything. I don't complain. I feel like music is a great way to connect, and so I've just always found that I like listening to all kinds of music. Preferably, I usually listen to Broadway music because I am a Broadway nerd, but I will listen to anything, and this month especially, I've just kind of been jumping around when it comes to music. So there are 4 songs, if you would, that I'm going to share with you, and they'll all be linked in the description box below if you want to check them out. So the first one is actually a soundtrack, and it is the Dear Evan Hansen soundtrack. Now, this musical has recently won Best Musical at the Tony Awards for 2017, and it completely deserves it. It is absolutely beautiful. The lead and the ensemble, like, they all work together, and it just provides a very beautiful musical, especially vocally when it comes to it, because the soundtrack, usually with any soundtrack I listen to, I'll usually skip a song or 2, even if it's a Broadway musical. But when it comes to Dear Evan Hansen, I don't skip a single song. They're all beautiful, and some of them are funny and others are emotional. Some made me cry the first time I listened to it because you're like, ooh. Little disclaimer, the musical is about suicide. So that was definitely like a touchy topic, and they pulled it off beautifully. It is absolutely amazing, and a big part of the message is actually social media, and I feel like nowadays that is very important, especially to our generation, just because past generations didn't have to deal with social media and the repercussions of it, and our generation does, and I think that's something that we need to be held accountable for in everything we post or say, because it will be here forever. And it's funny that I'm making a YouTube video about this because this will be here forever. I just feel like social media is an outlet that could create, but it can also destroy. And I think we need to try and use it for good instead of for bad, because in this musical, you know, people use social media as an outlet to be fake sometimes, and that's not what it was meant to do. It was meant to connect and not to provide this fake mask a person could wear that they could just like flaunt around as a completely different person. And in the musical, there's this one character and she's like that, and you find out that's just because she's that lonely too, and so that's hard too. If you guys have seen Pitch Perfect, the actor who plays Benji, his name is Ben Platt. He is the lead actor in this musical, and he won Best Actor. I was blowing up my Snapchats the night of the Tonys just because it's like my Super Bowl. The Tonys are like my Super Bowl. And when he won Best Actor and Dear Evan Hansen won Best Musical, I was just like through the roof. I was so happy. So well deserved. I loved it. I actually did a body paint and tribute to Dear Evan Hansen if you want to go ahead and check that out. It's just an absolutely beautiful musical. I highly recommend listening to the soundtrack. And if you can fly out to New York, if you're that lucky, please go see the musical. It's absolutely beautiful, so I highly recommend it. So go ahead and check that out. The next favorite is from a musical as well. It is from the musical Yentl, and this stars Barbra Streisand. And it is a Jewish musical, and the song is Flickering Candle. Or it's Papa Can You Hear Me? It's one of those. I believe it's Papa Can You Hear Me, but I always call it Flickering Candle just because she is singing to this flickering candle in prayer, and she's singing to her dad. And what I really love about this, besides the amazing vocal talent that is required to sing the song and like the riffs and everything, it's absolutely beautiful, is there's this line where she says, "Looking at the stars, I seem to see a million eyes. Which ones are yours?" And that is so, because I love stars, and so she's singing to stars, referring to eyes, and I relate to that so much because I think that all the time. Is it's like, what if like stars are just like, you know, people looking down on you and watching over you and stuff like that. It also kind of reminded me of Lion King when they're stargazing, and that was a funny scene. And so I don't know, I really loved that song. It is absolutely beautiful, and I'm just amazed every time I listen to it, so I highly recommend that. The next song favorite is actually a rock song, and it is The Bird and the Worm by The Used. Now, I used to listen to this all the time years ago, but it is really great. Like the orchestration in it, I just think is absolutely beautiful, and how it plays well with like the singers and everything. And it's so intense, and that's what I love about it. And it definitely makes me feel like punkier than I am, I guess you could say. Like it makes me feel like I could win a fight, or believe I could, even though I'm not a violent person. It just empowers you, and it makes me fiery. Yeah, I feel like it just pumps you up. So if you're going to rain terror on like the kitchen and make some dope cookies, this is the song you want to listen to while making dope cookies, and they might come out burnt, but it's okay. It's a great song. I highly recommend it. Just listen to it because this, okay, yeah. And my last favorite is the last song, and it is The Truth by Jason Aldean. And once again, I used to listen to this song a lot, probably in like 7th grade. And it is a country song, and I'm not a huge country fan, but I will listen to country music, especially in the summer. I just feel like country music screams summer to me, and just reminds me of the summer, because every time like we would travel in the summer, like we would be going from like Texas to Arizona, and we'd just be listening to country music on the way. And so country music has always like struck me as like summer music, and so I turned on the radio back in Texas, and it was country music, and I was just listening to it as I was going to my friend's house. And The Truth came on, and I hadn't listened to this in probably like 6 years. It's been a long time, so I was really surprised when it came on the radio. And I forgot how much I loved it, because I used to listen to this song on repeat all the time. It's absolutely beautiful. It's about a breakup, and a lot of good songs are about breakups, so it's absolutely amazing. I highly recommend it. And once again, that'll be linked down below if you wanted to check that out. And that's it for this month's favorites. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a comment down below what you'd like to see next, or if you've tried any of these products before, or if you recommend anything. I'd love to hear back from you guys. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!